There's a lot of focus and even an obsession nowadays with pointing out red flags in people when it comes to dating and relationships. And don't get me wrong, this is important so that you can avoid those types of people. But equally important is being able to recognize the green flags in someone that will make them a great partner. Because if you're too focused on learning toxic behaviors to where you don't actually know what makes someone worth choosing, then how will you choose them? See, knowing the red flags will keep you out of bad relationships, but knowing the green flags will guide you into the right ones. Now, before I get into it, please note that I think being light-hearted and playful and having fun with your partner most of the time is important, and things shouldn't feel heavy or like you have to analyze everything constantly. But the green flags I'm going to talk about in this video are going to be deeper than that. Because ultimately it's the way someone handles conflict and when times are stressful and tense that will tell you more about their character than having fun ever could. So with that said, here are 5 green flags showing that someone will make a great potential partner. Trust is arguably the most important thing in a relationship as it lays the foundation upon which everything else is built. Now I'm sure a lot of you will already know that, but the green flag I'm going to talk about here is when someone is showing you that they are trustworthy. So not just that you trust that they won't cheat or constantly lie to you, but also that you believe they are reliable and honest. They don't purposefully hide anything from you. If they say they'll do something, then they'll do it. Their words match their actions. And even if they do make a mistake, they'll own up to it, apologize and move on. It's these things you notice in them, as well as the consistent effort they put into you that makes you feel like they care. Trust is built through patterns of respect, selflessness, vulnerability, and giving your partner the safety to express whatever it is that they feel, whether that's praise or criticism. If you have this foundation where you trust that this person is not deceiving you or faking their care and love towards you, then it's the biggest green flag. Because on the other hand, if you have a good reason to believe that it's not safe for you to say certain things or something feels off about them, then at some point your relationship will fail. Because chemistry and fun dates and even love is not enough. Not if you don't truly feel like they are there for you and you can rely on them no matter what. So if you do have this feeling that this person really does care about me based on the work that they're putting in this relationship or in these early stages of dating, then that is a massive green flag. Empathy will play a role in the other green flags in this video too, but I want to talk about it separately because of just how important it is. Someone with empathy is able to step into your shoes and try to understand what you're feeling and why. They will validate your feelings, even if they don't feel the same way or if they have a different opinion. They won't just say, yeah, I get it, or I've been through that too, but rather, I don't know exactly what you're going through or how you're feeling, but I do know that you're hurting and I care about you, so I want you to know that I'm here for you. If they're able to say something along those lines, then it shows you that in the long term, they are far more likely to be kind, supportive, and hold a safe space for you in this relationship. Empathy really shows up in the moments where you're stressed or hurt or there's some sort of conflict in your relationship. In fact, if you look at why partners usually fall out of love, it's typically a lack of empathy leading to distance and tension. If you constantly feel invalidated, and your experiences are dismissed or even belittled, then what you have is not a genuine connection, but most likely a one-sided obsession with this person. What really matters here is how they respond when you are vulnerable. Do they actually try to understand your pain, or do they just get defensive and make you feel even worse? Someone with empathy is able to be compassionately curious and ask you questions about your feelings, even if they were the cause of them. Because they are not so self-absorbed and insecure that everything has to be about them or is taken personally. In fact, empathy is basically the opposite of narcissism, which is another reason why it's such an important green flag to look out for. I think without question, accountability is needed for a healthy relationship. It's one of the biggest signs of emotional maturity, because someone who can acknowledge when they've done something wrong and take responsibility for it is showing you that they care about you enough to prioritize the relationship over the need to be right and satisfy their own ego. When someone is able to say something like, I was wrong, I didn't mean to hurt you, but I can see that I did, and I'm sorry. That is real accountability. And it's different from the fake apologies we often hear, like, I'm sorry you feel that way, or, well, I didn't mean it, so you shouldn't be upset. The difference is that a real apology involves empathy, which I've already talked about, and a willingness to grow. It's not just about saying sorry, but also putting in effort to change the behavior that caused the hurt in the first place, and that is maturity. Taking accountability means owning your actions even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. And this creates a safe space in your relationship where you're able to come to each other and be vulnerable without being judged or dismissed. You know they won't get defensive, shift the blame, or shut down the moment a hint of conflict comes up. So if you feel safe enough to approach this person and communicate something they said or did that upset or hurt you, knowing that they won't blast you for it or attack you, then that's a good start. But if they also demonstrate empathy and take accountability for their actions and for making you feel a certain way, then that is the green flag. And it will make communication so much more relaxed and meaningful as time goes on. Humility in a partner is a green flag in the context that they are able to self-reflect and improve. I'm not saying that they have to have a low self-esteem, but rather they know they aren't perfect, and so they have a growth mindset. Because it's the people who don't think too highly of themselves who are able to have an open mind and make improvements. Of course, this is important in a relationship too, because if someone doesn't recognize their own emotions and behaviors and what may be causing them, then they're going to struggle to do the same thing for you. Now, you could just call this emotional intelligence, but it's humility that creates the attitude that makes growth even possible. It's what allows someone to say things like, I didn't know that, but I'm listening. Maybe I could have handled that better, and I'm still learning. That type of self-reflection is very important to make a relationship work in the long term, because without it, there is no real growth, only repeated behaviors. Humility is a green flag because it opens the door to better communication, a deeper connection, and mutual respect. It's like saying, I'm not perfect, but I do care about you enough to work through my imperfections. So far, I've given you a list of 4 very important green flags to look out for in a potential partner. But as many of you will know, some of these can be faked, and unfortunately, many of us end up getting love bombed or deceived early stages in dating. So how can you avoid this? Well, you check to see if they are consistent. That is the final green flag I'm going to talk about, and it brings everything else in this video together. Someone who's consistent will consistently show up for you, even when it doesn't benefit them or when it's not convenient. They'll remain trustworthy even when nobody is watching. They'll show you empathy even when you're upset. They'll take accountability even when their ego is bruised. And they will remain humble even when praised. It's these patterns that you need to look out for, not just the 1 or 2 times that they made you feel good or said the right thing, because anyone can do that. Anyone can be nice for a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is. But when someone consistently embodies these traits over time, especially through hard moments, that's how you know it's real, because how they make you feel is also consistent. You'll always feel safe, secure, and valued with them. There is no walking on eggshells or fear or anxiety. The right person will consistently show up for you in ways that make you feel like it's just right. And what bigger green flag is there than that? So that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you could find some value from it. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in my next one.